Well, it's been a pretty crazy year. I had a great hike in early July, and then after that, things kind of went sideways. I had a hike in early August and a hike in September, and they didn't go real well. I didn't shoot a lot of video, and I wasn't going to do anything with it, and then I thought, you know, why not? So I put some video together, and I'm going to call it a twofer. Well, that's cool. These guys are right behind me in the backyard. We haven't seen them all year, and now we've seen them, I think, every day this week. Pretty cool. So let's shoot back to early July. I had a great week-long hike on the West Coast Trail on Vancouver Island. Flew home, and then after I got home, came down with COVID. So somewhere along the way in the airport or on the airplane, I don't know. And I dealt with that for about 10 days. That put me into late July. And then in early August, I went on a hike on the Great Divide Trail Section A. And things just were not normal. The first day we had to climb up to a ridge, and I couldn't catch my breath. Normally I get up there, I'm tired, I can catch my breath after a few seconds. Didn't happen, could not catch my breath, was really weird. And then on the way down the ridge on the other side, I actually fell twice right on the trail, and both times fell on my butt and thought, that's weird, like what's going on here? And then the rest of the day and into the next day, my legs just did not feel normal, couldn't find my natural stride. My knees felt like jello, really, really weird. So I kind of put the camera away. Anyway, here's a little bit of that adventure. We're in Waterton right now. We're about to hike Section A of the Great Divide Trail. I'm here with my buddies John, John, and Justin. And I'll let you figure it out. And we're going to spend the next 6 days on the trail. Hopefully it'll be a good week. Hopefully you'll hike along with us. This morning we're starting from the Roe Lakes trailhead, and we'll head up the Roe Creek Valley and then climb to Lynham Ridge, traverse the ridge, and then head down to the Blackiston Creek Valley before climbing to a saddle below Festibert Mountain, and then a quick descent down to Lone Lake Campground and our campsite tonight. So here we go. So this week we're hiking this trail, this Section A, not all of it, and I'll talk about that later. And the weather forecast is not great for day 3, and that's the toughest day for us. That's over Lac Coulot Peak and the ridge. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what happens. My buddy John with no H and his son Justin attempted Section A last year. It was 35 Celsius or about 95 degrees Fahrenheit at the start of their hike, and Justin got sick, probably heat stroke, so they had to abandon their hike. I suggested this hike to them this year, basically a continuation of where they had to step off the trail last year.
The island is, I thought it was 16 in total. We've done 4. Yeah. Nice. I think I told you we had to cut into the...
We're just taking a quick rest stop, and then we have the climb, and you can see what we're faced with. 500 meters of elevation gain over the next while. Our new hiking buddy. Those would be bighorn sheep up above us, and we should be up near there shortly. Looks like what could be wolf poop. So John's gonna do the Indiana Jones thing. Taste it fresh. 2 days. Anyway, the views are nice. And this is where we're going. Up, up, up. So we've climbed 250 meters from the bridge, from our rest stop, and we have another 250 meters of elevation gain to Tamarack Summit. So we're almost at the top of the ridge, and this shows my oxygen sat, so it's 90, 91. My pulse is 124. This ridge is kicking my butt. This gives you a pretty good idea of the trail that we've come up. And then there was a long switchback way over there. And now we continue up there. So we're continuing the climb, but check this out. He's got a pretty good view. We're actually above him. We walked past him and didn't see him until we were above him. We're taking a nice stop here for lunch, right on the top of the ridge. The guys are making their way down off the ridge, and this afternoon, circle this valley, the end of the valley, and then we're going to continue down the valley with a short climb over a ridge, and then down to Lone Lake. With the way that I'm feeling, and with the bad weather forecast for tomorrow and our walk up along La Culotte Ridge, we're just planning on hiking past Twin Lakes and up through Sage Pass and then to Font Creek campsite today. We'll spend a couple of nights there, and then we'll hike back out to one of our cars. After spending a couple of nights here at Font Creek, we're going to hike back through Sage Pass, down past Twin Lakes, and then out along Bowerman Creek back to our car.
Over there is Sage Pass.
Oops, hold on a minute. I'll be right back. I think somebody's at the front door. False alarm. I think she was just looking for her friends. And then in early September, Stuart Howe and I planned a nice 4-day loop hike in at the Ya Ha Tinda Ranch on the eastern edge of Banff National Park. And let's just say that turned ugly real fast. Our plan is a 4-day hike. From the trailhead, we'll hike past the historic Ya Ha Tinda Ranch, heading northwest through the Scalp Creek Natural Area to Skeleton Creek, where we'll camp for the night. Then we'll head down Skeleton Creek to the Forbidden Creek Valley, turn west and hike up the valley to the headwaters of the creek and camp somewhere near Frank's Camp. On day 3, we'll turn south and hike over Terrell Pass and down Terrell Creek to the Red Deer River, and then hike east and camp just outside of Banff National Park at a spot known as Border Camp. And on day 4, we'll hike east along the Red Deer River and the southern boundary of Ya Ha Tinda Ranch and make our way back to the trailhead. Well, we started up and it's pretty obvious where we're headed, up that draw. So today we're going to climb north of the buildings on the ranch. We're going to continue northwest and eventually we're going to hopefully hit campsite CC7 on the map, and that's where we'll camp tonight. I don't know a lot about the ranch. I think it's been around, what, 100 years, Stuart?
Yep.
You know more about it than I. You've been out here. You were actually out here several months ago. We were just talking about that, so check out Stuart's video on that. What do you know about the ranch?
It's the only federal horse ranch left in Canada, and it winters the horses from Banff National Park and Jasper National Park that the horse teams use when they go out and patrol the trails and go to the cabins and do work and stuff. So it's pretty important for the mountain parks to have this ranch still in operation.
Beautiful area. So I believe the words Ya Ha Tinda means mountain prairie or prairie mountain, which is pretty apt for this land. We just had an interesting conversation back there with Blair from Parks Canada, works out here, and gave us some nice info on the trail ahead. Blair was telling us they winter the horses here, and right now he said there's about 40 horses out here. There's about, I think he said about 125 horses in total, so the rest of them are out in the parks doing their thing. So as the sign says, established 1917, so more than 100 years ago. So we are going to go through the gate and close the gate behind us and continue. Pretty neat to walk through this very historic place. So we made the turn out of the ranch, kind of like a long switchback. That's where we came from. And now we're heading up here. So we're continuing northwest. And just to clarify, we met the park staff there and we did have authorization from him to walk through the ranch. And of course we open and close the gates like everybody should. But yeah, just very respectful of the property. Well, we've come to the end of the road. So Stuart and I were doing just fine coming up the grade, and I think Stuart figured we had done about 5.5 kilometers.
Yeah, about a third of the way.
And at one point I think he said we had us going at 6.1 kilometers,
Yep.
which is a really, really fast pace. I don't know what it was, the smoke, the heat, the exertion, maybe some COVID after effects from COVID that I had about a month and a half ago. I don't know what, but I started puking. A little bit scary, and to be honest, I'm not feeling good. We sat here for quite a while. I want Stuart to continue, but like he mentioned, and I know that this time of year grizzly bears are in that phase where it's all about food. That's all they care about, and he is not crazy about hiking this route by himself, and I can't blame him. I do want him to continue, but he wants to walk me back to the car, so well, this is our way out. We're continuing down, and you can see over in the distance the building, the old barn, and the smoke. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's definitely not good out here.
It's worse than you think when you look that distance, you know?
Yeah. Well, the end is near, literally. A couple hundred meters, I think, to the cars. And yeah, it's been an interesting one. I think, like I said before, I don't look at it as a failure, but more of a learning experience. And I think just a combination of factors did me in. I feel bad for Stuart not being able to continue. He's on his quest for 100 nights or bust, or 100 days or bust. Well, I'm back in the campground that we stayed at last night before we started hiking this morning. And yeah, I don't know if it was a combination of the exertion, the heat, the smoke, one of them or all of them, I don't know. But I've never felt like that on a hike before, not a good feeling. I did want Stuart to continue, but like he said, bears are in their hyperphagia stage, and food is priority number one for them right now, and they're just not aware of their surroundings sometimes. And if we wander into their surroundings, bad things can happen. So he decided to hike out with me. Beautiful area, the Ya Ha Tinda area. I can see coming back here and doing some hikes. It's different, very different. I would call it basically the gateway to the Rockies. Beautiful country. So hopefully I will get back again sometime. So that pretty much wraps up the hiking season for me. I'm already looking forward to next summer, looking at maps and trying to figure out where I want to go, what kind of trouble I can get into. So we'll have to see what happens. Talk to you later.